To the new Prime Minister and the Liberal Party, I have one message. Alberta has had enough. Enough with Ottawa trampling over our provincial jurisdiction like Canada's Constitution doesn't exist. Enough with the meaningless virtue signaling climate policies that only make Canadians poorer and threaten our energy security. Enough of their screw the West, we'll take the rest mentality. Enough with their soft on crime policies that let repeat offenders roam the streets on bail. Enough with their unsafe supply, their open border policies, their censorship laws, the list goes on and on.
So, as you guys know, this video was supposed to be about how Gary Keller won the Temiskaming riding because I was very impressed with the turnout. Turns out all of the news sources, which by the way, people in the comments of my TikTok will call me stupid for this, didn't know that you could call a riding before they were done counting. Because Toronto Star, CTV News, and CBC all said that Gary Keller won Temiskaming riding and that it was done. Why would they say that if it wasn't done? I just really would love to know, okay? And the left will pretend, oh, this happens every time. This is so normal. Is it? Because could Pierre Poilievre out of, thin air just get 2,000 more votes? Gary Keller was leading by 1,000 votes, and then all of a sudden the Liberal is leading by 2,000 votes. So I didn't know that was possible. I had no idea. But let me tell you guys why I think Northern Ontario is ultimately not going to do good. Okay? And you guys know, I'm very passionate about Northern Ontario. It's going to really suck to leave. But these towns around me used to be filled with populations of thousands of people. Do you want to know why? Thousands of people to now have food deserts. Yeah, no grocery stores are in some of these communities. Why? Because we don't have any business here. We have the Ring of Fire in Northern Ontario. Do you think that is used to, at all, first of all, used to do anything, but let alone okay, so Northern Ontario is a work desert. I just was looking up how to all of the different towns that are a possibility for our family in Alberta. Multitude of options for my husband to work in. Multitude. Up here, there's 3 to 4 places that you could drive to comfortably to work at. I just genuinely, I cannot believe it. I am at the point, I have no idea. I'm at a loss for words, you guys, because Northern Ontario has a Yahtzee. We had a Yahtzee. We had Anthony Rhoda, who, by the way, was thrown under the bus. No doubt about that, but still. Bring a Yahtzee to the House of Commons. So I thought maybe the Yahtzee being brought to the House of Commons and embarrassing the out of our district, and then on the Monday have a threat into our schools after that happened, I thought maybe people woke up. Most people that I seen voting from New Liskeard and Temiskaming were voting for their rights. I don't know, did you guys sleep through the fact that there was a teenager who was attacked by someone on bail in Cobalt, Ontario not that long ago, and we had to fucking protest to ask the judge to keep him in jail? I'm sorry, I genuinely do not like talking about these things because that is someone's real freaking life. But oh my gosh, I don't know how much crime and poverty and being literally forgotten about by our federal jurisdiction. And that's no surprise to me when our federal jurisdiction covers a massive amount of land. Not surprised by that in the slightest. And by the way, when I say that I saw Gary Keller signs all down the 11 and all up the 17, I'm not stupid. I know that there were probably signs I didn't see, and I also don't have a sign on my front lawn. So I know that people don't actually always put out a sign, okay? I was just making an observation, and if you're like, why are you yelling at me about this? That is what the left said on a video that I already made about this, because I was so heated that Gary Keller lost this riding. That the news told me he won definitively. Both the Toronto Star, CBC, and CTV all said definitively. I'm at the point, you guys, where here's the thing. People are like, well, Alberta's not perfect. Yeah, I don't want perfect. I want our money to go farther. I want more freedom. I want more protection from the federal government. And Danielle Smith, no matter what happens to Ottawa, seems to be very serious about protecting the rights of Albertans. Why would I stay here? And I think that you're about to see a mass exodus of a bunch of hardworking people that cannot get ahead in Nova Scotia and all of the Maritimes places that went liberal, okay? Probably Ontario, definitely Ontario, because if you're in Southern Ontario, I'm not even sure how you're existing because life is so expensive down there. I can't imagine still paying for parking. I can't imagine... people think that groceries are so much more up here. They're not. Walmart has the exact same price throughout Ontario. So, oh God. And this is the thing. The left, when they're like, the left is acting in my TikTok. I went live on TikTok that, a bunch of crybabies. What? I already moved 7 hours for the betterment of my family, okay? Because Northern Ontario has a lot better paying jobs. And we went through a pros and cons list, okay? We took the steps needed to do what we needed to do with our family. And honestly, I told my husband 4 years ago, I said, you're going to have to seriously consider moving to either America or Alberta if the Liberals get back in. Because if nothing opens, and we moved to Northern Ontario thinking that Pierre would open the Ring of Fire and get things going, but that's not going to happen. It's going to happen only if Alberta separates, because that's all Canada will have for resources to either extract for themselves or to export. I have no doubt in my mind, I have no idea why the light is doing that. I have no doubt in my mind that we will become an extremely divided nation. This isn't the same. Okay, hold on. This country is a hotbed of crime. This government doesn't want us to own our own homes, which is why if you do own your home, they want to charge you for, tax you on the equity of your home. So even when you're done having mortgage payments, guess what? They're coming back. They want to tax you on your inheritance. The only way Canadians usually get ahead is by inheriting money from their parents or grandparents or whatever. They want to tax you so that you can't have access to that either. Yeah. Any way that a pleb like me and you could get ahead, they don't want that to happen. Okay? Mark Carney's book literally said that the homeowners are a disposable class. He quoted that in his book. He didn't disagree with it. He literally quoted it. So I genuinely, you guys, and you know what? The hashtag Alberta gone off of TikTok. You cannot hashtag Alberta. That's a province. There's no, what are you talking about? And if you can hashtag it, that's great. That's great, because I can't. It will not let me tag. I thought I was spelling Alberta wrong. I literally looked at it probably 30 times, being like, going to Google Alberta. No, that looks the exact same. I'm pretty sure they're just making sure we can't get to it. When the left doesn't get what they want, you've seen what they've done to Teslas and the buildings, okay? We, however, we move with dignity, okay? We move with hope. Most of us, or a lot of us have, God. But even if we don't, we have integrity, okay? That's what I've seen. The amount of rude and disrespectful comments from the left, just proved to me they do not want to come together. They don't want to unite. And that's okay, because we have a place to go if we, want to be safe. And you know what? There's a couple of safe Northern Ontario communities still, but with no jobs to offer, what's the point of staying? gonna get arrested, taxed into oblivion, be scared to ever stand up for yourself because you know it's the only place you can work. I love Northern Ontario. It is the most beautiful place I've ever been, okay? But we are truly drowning, okay? Northern Ontario is not doing good. And this gives me very little hope that it ever will, okay? I literally had something in my eye. You see this? By the way, I don't want it this way. This is not something that I would ever want. But this is the reality since literally the 1900s for Northern Ontario. So if you have any suggestions on where to move in Alberta, that would be great. I love little communities that are like 40 minutes away from cities. Let me know. Bye!